Bom, pessoal, agora que eu finalmente consegui postar aquele evento de fantasmas que rolou há mais de um ano atrás do XIANZHOU, também já terminei os vídeos relacionados à primeira parte, toda a parte principal, né, de Penacone. Vamos agora então voltar pro XIANZHOU e fazer as histórias relacionadas a Festival, com o Moze, aquele lobão pidão lá e tal. Então é isso, deixa um like, se inscrevam e simbora.
What's up, Pom-Pom?
E o Pompom.
Just got a message from the XIANZHOU Fu. Looks like it'll conflict with our original schedule.
It's been a while,
ele aí, ó.
my friends on the Astral Express. How's your trailblazing expedition going?
E aí, meu nobre?
Soon, the XIANZHOU Fu will be holding the Luminary War Dance. Those who have aided the Fu in overcoming the crisis are cherished allies of the XIANZHOU. Thus, on behalf of the Seat of Divine Foresight, I'm extending an invitation to attend the ceremony. Your presence would be greatly appreciated.
Well, things are getting lively. We've barely recovered from the family's Charmony Festival, and we're already being invited to another special event.
Eu ainda tô pagando a terapia pra me curar da última festinha que a gente foi.
Yeah, me too. But wait, won't it look unprofessional if we attend 2 ceremonies in a row? Aren't we supposed to be focused on restoring astral charts and doing some serious scientific exploration?
So we should leave March behind to take care of the Express?
Hey, that's not what I meant. I'm all for some fun. I just hope there won't be any surprise party crashers.
Uma galera
like
diferenciada nessa
Friday
festa.
or Saturday.
The XIANZHOU Fu has recently overcome a crisis. By holding the war dance, they're demonstrating to everyone that they've returned to a state of peace and...
But that's what everyone said before we went to Penacony. You'll be totally safe under the family's protection.
No need to worry. The War Dance is not like the Charmony Festival with all its hidden secrets. It's just a festival to honor the Rainbow Arbiter and the Cloud Knights, who fought against the abominations of abundance and protected the XIANZHOU ships. Aside from Starskiff performances, it's mostly martial contests. Nothing too different from the Taiki and Roboball contest we've seen before.
What do you think, Himiko? Since we've accepted Miss Black Swan's proposal, we should probably head to Amphorius for refueling.
There's certainly no rush. This trailblazing expedition is quite unique, and the Express needs to be fully stocked and prepared before moving on to the next stop. With Madame Herta's help, I was planning to deliver some Leviathan fossils from Kalinga Abyss to Ron May, member 81 of the Genius Society. It could earn us some favors before we set off. However, it may take a few weeks.
Aw, so that means we're not going to the Fu.
Being an adult means maintaining relationships, whether we like it or not, March. Since we've been invited, it's only right for the Astral Express to attend the ceremony. So here's the plan. Pom-Pom will take everyone to the XIANZHOU Fu. Mr. Yang and I will meet up with Ron May and fulfill our promise. Meanwhile, you, March, and Don Hung will represent the Express and attend the war dance.
Ah, então só vamos nós três.
What do you two think?
Beleza. Me parece bom.
I don't hear any objections.
Now that everyone's on board with the plan, it's time to warp to the XIANZHOU Fu.
Tá, discuta o plano de viagem.
Kalinga Abyss. What does she expect to find there? Current research on the Leviathan merely proves how little we know about such life forms.
That's why geniuses are interested in that field. Science is all about uncovering the unknown.
A conversa entre os dois, repete... enfim. Faça uma boa viagem.
Don't miss us too much. If I stumble upon some cool Leviathan fossils, I'll bring
Se
a few
encontrar alguns
active
fósseis...
souvenirs
Ah,
for you.
traz. Eu quero fóssil de Leviatã. Pode trazer.
Himiko really knows how to convince people. Between Leviathan fossils and the war dance, the latter definitely sounds more fun. By the way, Don Hung, this time you'll be taking a stroll with us on the Fu, right?
And just let you two wander around aimlessly on the Fu by yourselves? I don't think so. Plus, Mr. Yang is right. The Ambrosial Arbor crisis just ended, and both the long life and short life species are still feeling uneasy. and that's why Jing Yuan wants to organize the war dance, to show that the XIANZHOU Luofu is stable and safe.
Antes que eu esqueça, né, de falar, é interessante ver que a gente tá indo pra lá logo após logo após tudo que rolou em Penacone. Normalmente isso aí eu acho que seria tipo logo após o Luofu, antes de Penacone, mas
And,
que bom.
Since he has extended an invitation, it's only right that I visit my old friend.
Que legal, na real. Tá chegando?
Coming back to this place brings back so many
Mas
memories.
já?
You know?
Então, aqui vai uma coisinha pra todos vocês, um poema de 7 de março.
Hey, I'm not actually gonna recite a poem. I was just thinking about all the twists and turns we went through when we first arrived on the XIANZHOU. This time, we're not being forced or enticed or chasing after wanted criminals. And we didn't have to sneak in through the cargo dock. This trip has been incredibly smooth.
Verdade, inclusive tem toda a lore aí do XIANZHOU desde o começo até o final aí no canal pra quem quiser procurar e assistir. E mesmo que ele seja meio confuso, eu acho que vale a pena dar uma olhada.
Quite unusual, I must say.
A gente não é tão fácil de agradar, eu tenho pena da gente.
Such is the fate of us nameless, I suppose.
Tá, o zap do Yan King. Eu vi a mensagem da comissão sobre o expresso ter estacionado. Vocês já chegaram? Chegamos agora. E o general me enviou pra receber vocês. A gente se vê já já. Nossa, tá lotado de gente aqui, hein?
Is the Starskip Haven always this crowded? Oh, there's so many people here. I can barely hear anything.
Yanqing said General Jingyuan sent him to welcome us, but where is he?
Let's wait for him in front of the loom. It's the most prominent landmark on the dock.
Hey, you guys! Hold on a moment.
Ah, uma moça pepechana.
Did they just call us? Look at their outfits.
E um maluco de Penacone.
They're from Penacony, right? Are you familiar with the XIANZHOU Luofu?
We know a little bit about it. What do you need?
We are from Penacony. Maybe you've heard of it. We came to this ship to gather interesting materials for making dream bubbles.
Oh, we just left there. Oh, talk about coincidence.
That's great. Do you know any must-see attractions on the Luofu?
Por que não pergunta para os moradores locais?
Did, but the locals were all like, "Come on, there's nothing worth seeing on the Luofu.
É tudo tédio
It's
só.
so boring here."
Ha! Can't blame them. If someone asked me what's there to see on Penacony, I'd probably struggle to answer too.
Faz sentido, tipo, pessoas que já moram naquele lugar, tipo, já estão acostumadas com tudo aquilo, não saberiam indicar nada para um turista, né?
That's why we're asking fellow tourists.
Most of the tourists around at the moment are here to attend the war dance. And that's why we're here too.
Yeah, we know about that ceremony. But isn't the fighting ring still closed?
I've heard the ring was actually converted from a huge decommissioned Luofu fighter jet.
Então é maior até do que um esquife comum.
No doubt about it. It's a massive fighter jet. It's got to be larger than a civilian star skiff.
But for now, all we can do is wait until the war dance starts in a few weeks before we can board it. We've still got work to do, so we can't just sit around waiting for it to start. That's why we're asking you about some must-see attractions.
We're looking for unique experiences that you won't find on Penacony. Our clients love these kinds of dream bubbles the most.
You're the expert here.
Eu?
Give them some suggestions.
Especialista, ai. Que tal o Jardim Flamavulpe?
Oh yeah! Fixtroll Garden! It's famous for supernatural stuff. With those mischievous heliobi floating around. It's pretty fascinating.
Supernatural? I don't really like scary things, but our clients will love it.
Ooh, it does sound interesting. Let's go check out Fixtroll Garden. Maybe we'll bump into each other there.
Look, Yanqing's here.
Really? Let's go catch up with him.
Nossa, qual foi a última vez que eu coloquei os pés no XIANZHOU, velho? Nem eu lembro. Tipo, a diferença de qualidade do meu PC pra esse aqui chega a ser medonha, velho.
Everyone, this way.
Eu vou estar sendo meio brega agora, mas chega a ser reconfortante eu estar me esforçando tanto pra terminar de pagar esse negócio. Tipo, veio do meu próprio dinheiro, tá ligado? Eu tô mó feliz, velho.
It's been a while.
Eu não paro de me surpreender com isso às vezes. E já passou o quê? Uns 3 meses desde que eu tenho esse computador, eu acho? 2 ou 3, sei lá.
Yanqing, are you?
What's up, Miss March?
They say kids grow up really fast. Yanqing, are you a little bit taller than before?
Você tá mais alto.
We've only been away for a few months.
Há quanto tempo?
Long time no see.
It's been a while.
Oh, you've come along too, Mr. Danhung. Sorry for the delay. With the upcoming war dance and the Starskiff Haven being so busy, things are a little hectic.
Seriously, I've never seen the Luofu so lively before.
I was a bit worried that holding the war dance right after the Ambrosial Arbor crisis might be too soon. But seeing the bustling Starskiff Haven, I understand why General Jing Yuan chose this.
Yep. There's people from other delves and travelers like you three who've come from afar. With the war dance coming up, there's a huge number of visitors pouring into the Starskiff Haven. The Cloud Knights are working hard to keep the security tight. The General said this ceremony would help the XIANZHOU Luofu recover from the crisis. It's a way to showcase our martial spirit, reassure people, boost morale, and attract visitors from other planets to promote trade and peace. By the way, the XIANZHOU Alliance places great importance on this ceremony too. The XIANZHOU ships, the Zhuming and the Yaoqing, have both sent messengers to offer their blessings.
Tá. Zhuming?
Yeah, I wonder if you've heard of it. It's known as the Star Forge, and it's responsible for providing more than half of the Cloud Knights' armaments. The XIANZHOU Zhuming boasts skilled craftsmasters, and General Huayan is a top-notch craftsman himself. Ah, if only I could get a sword forged by him, I'd be on Cloud 9.
By the way, Yanqing, where are we headed next?
I'm sorry for talking your ear off. The General wants to catch up with you at the Palace of Astrum. He's been eager to hear about how the Express has been doing.
It's funny how he tries to act all mature, but whenever it comes to something he's interested in, you can really see his childish side.
Nisso vocês são farinha do mesmo saco.
I agree.
Então tá, né? Vamos lá.
All units, assemble quickly. Get ready to protect the crowd.
Mas já há problema?
I just mentioned security, and now all of a sudden something's gone wrong. Excuse me, I need to go check out the situation.
Engraçado que ainda tem cartaz do Blaze ali. Do Blaze. Ah, mano, toda vez eu chamo esse cara de... Eu penso no Blade, no nome Blade, na pronúncia Blade, e sai Blaze, velho. Nem entender qual é o meu problema, velho. Oh. Aí os lobão pidão aí que tava aparecendo no trailer. Combate? Ai. Lá vem. Ah lá ela, ó. Já apareceu.
Thanks for the help?
Sorry, no time to chat. Could you give me back my...
Roubou a espada dele.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid we'll have to put our plans on hold for now. I need to find out what's going on.
While we appreciate your rescue, my XIANZHOU friends, don't you think it's a bit too much to detain us and our cargo?
Sorry, but we've been ordered to detain you and your cargo for inspection until we figure out the source of the attack. Once we're done with the formalities, we'll let you and your cargo go.
Oh, but this shipment isn't even meant for the Luofu. And it's IPC's patented technology. Who do you think you are to conduct an inspection?
According to the protocol, all cargo arriving on the Luofu must go through inspection.
Oh, but we didn't officially enter your dock at all. We just sought refuge in your dock because we were attacked by the Borisons.
Looks like this argument could go on forever. Let's not get involved in a heated dispute that won't lead to a resolution.
Mas nem queria chegar perto pra começar de conversa. Ei. Abaixa a bola aí, fi. Oxi.
Who's in charge here? I need some answers.
It's my fault. We let our guard down for a moment. I take full responsibility.
With the war dance approaching, safety should be a top priority. Now, tell me, how did Borisin prisoners end up in Starskiff Haven? According to the protocol, Borisin prisoners should be held on a Starskiff and taken directly to the shackling prison under strict supervision without ever touching the ground. Who allowed a prisoner transport ship to dock at the passenger terminal?
Please don't blame this captain. This incident involves the Zhu Ming's diplomatic vessel.
Zhu Ming?
Who are you?
I'm Liu Jun, an officer of the Patrol Defense Squad. Thank you for your help, Lieutenant Yanqing. The situation unfolded rapidly, and it shouldn't be held against the captain. Here's what happened. An IPC transport ship was attacked by the Borisin just before arriving, and the Zhu Ming's diplomatic vessel came to the rescue. They
Piratas.
fought off the Borisin pirates and imprisoned them on their ship.
So, an IPC ship was attacked by the Borisin near the Luofu, and the Zhu Ming envoys saved them? This sounds complicated.
Honestly, it gives me a headache too. The Zhu Ming diplomatic ship, adhering to standard procedure, docked at the passenger terminal to hand these criminals over to the Luofu. You know, with all the outsiders flooding onto the Luofu, the Starskiff lanes are under immense pressure. The Borisin desperados decided to put up a fight before the prisoner transport Starskiff could get there. And that's what you just witnessed.
We'll make sure these prisoners are sent to the shackling prison as soon as possible.
I see. It's an unusual situation indeed. I'll report it to the security department of the Realm Keeping Commission and ask for their cooperation in handling the aftermath. Maybe I should gather more details from others so that the Seat of Divine Foresight can have a better understanding of the situation.
Todo mundo calmou a multidão e voltou tudo normal.
You look much maturer now, Yanqing.
Please don't tease me, Miss March. The situation on the XIANZHOU before the war dance is like a calm lake that can be disturbed by even the smallest pebble. Capable of generating far-reaching ripples.
Agora que a Márcia falou,
slightest disturbance.
quando foi que esse moleque ficou tão responsável assim do nada, oxi?
What are those people? I mean, those monsters we just dealt with.
Você chamou ele de... Eles são kobolds,
Those
são
werewolf
lobisomens,
monsters are known as
são os
Borisin.
lobopidão.
They are abominations of abundance, and we've been fighting them for a very long time. The Borisin have been a powerful force for a long time, plundering and enslaving many worlds. The threat they pose is just as terrible as the Swarm disaster, and the Alliance even had a fierce war with them
Pior
3
que o
decades
enxame?
ago.
Aham. Aí se a Firefly sabe... pegar pra saber disso, hein, coitada.
Their presence has faded over the years, but who would have thought?
According to that officer, they attacked an IPC ship near the XIANZHOU Luofu. Such a brazen attack seems quite unusual to me.
Yeah, that's what I find strange too. It seems like the IPC and the Borisin have some serious grudges. Well, enough with the chit-chat. The General wants me to take you to the Palace of Astrum. I'd love to chit-chat a little longer, but there are some things that can't be left unchecked.
Is it a serious matter? Maybe you'll need our help in hunting down the Borisin?
Thank you, but it's no big deal. By the way, that young lady who just appeared, she took my sword. I'm thinking of filing a lost property report with the Realm Keeping Commission to see if I can get it back.
I doubt she did it on purpose.
Então até os cavaleiros precisam abrir BO quando algo dá ruim.
Perhaps she's around here somewhere. Shouldn't we take a look?
All right, let's not keep the General waiting.
Don't worry. There aren't many people out there with that kind of talent. It shouldn't be too hard to find her.
Tá, vamos lá falar com o homem rapidão. Ih, esses dois.
Sure are a lot of troublemakers around.
Cara, esses eu não encolhi muito o papo desses dois aqui não, velho. Sei lá. Ainda mais esse aqui. Tipo, porque esse cara aqui tem um visual diferente.
E eu sei lá, porra.
Oi, General.
General,
Opa.
I brought our guests from the
Tem
Express.
velhote aqui?
Oh, I'm sorry for my bad timing. I didn't know you were meeting a guest, General.
Don't worry, you're just in time.
Salve,
It's
fi.
been a while, my friends from the Astral Express.
Como é que vai?
All is well when you have friends coming from afar. Allow me to introduce you to General Huayan. He's the Arbiter General of the XIANZHOU Zhuming, known as the Flaming Heart.
Tá.
No
Prazer,
need
eu
to be
acho.
so formal. I'm just a tourist here, no different from other tourists who've come to attend the ceremony.
Elder Huayan is not only one of the Arbiter Generals, but also the Furnace Master of the Artisanship Commission. Besides his martial skills, he excels in forging various weapons. Such
Be it Arbiter General, Furnace Master, these are merely titles given to me long ago. I've retired several times already, but
Tirar a mão do
current
espaço,
change in circumstances, the Marshal has called me back to duty, and I had no choice but to answer the call. Well, in the end, I'm to blame. Living such a long life naturally brings its share of disapproval.
It's an honor to meet you, General Huayan.
It's my honor to meet you, General Huayan.
É prazer.
No need to be all formal. Today I'm just a guest on the Lawfu, the same as all of you. So, these three are the ones you mentioned, Jingyuin? The heroes who helped you with the ambrosial
E aí, a outra ali atrás, ó. A que roubou a espada dele.
There's Don Hung, March 7th, and him. Without their help, I'm afraid the Lawfu might not have easily overcome this crisis.
So, the Imbibitor Lune's reincarnation has returned to the Lawfu and will attend the war dance. I'd love to have a drink with you should the chance present itself.
You're more than welcome, General Huayan.
And this young friend is?
Yanqing, my apprentice. He remains by my side as my retainer due to his youth, which I hope will season him with experience. He will stand for the Lawfu's Cloud Knights in the upcoming war dance, ready to take on all kinds of challenges.
Já veio com um olhar meio torto essa daqui, hein?
Great, great! It's a real treat to see so many talented young people around here today. Oh, I almost forgot. This is my apprentice, Yun Li.
Ah, então ela é aprendiz dele. Ok.
It's you!
Oh, it's you. Hello.
Oh, you two already know each other? Guess we don't need any introductions then.
What a coincidence! I was afraid I'd have trouble finding this girl.
Oh? Now you've piqued my curiosity. Tell me, how did you two become acquainted?
She helped me capture the escaped Borisan prisoners at the Starskiff Haven. Allow me to express my gratitude for you. But when you left, you took my flying sword with you.
Your flying sword? Oh, so that's why I found a dagger in my bag. Turns out it's yours.
Yes, it is. Now that we've met again, I hope...
Nope, that won't do.
Pode esquecer.
No. Won't do?
You want your sword back, right? Well, you can't just take it back. On the Zhuming, when you lose your sword on the battlefield, you have to reclaim it on the battlefield. As for this little sword, it was supposed to strike that escaped Borisan prisoner. But unfortunately, its owner's agitated state caused it to fly off like a kite with a broken string, and it missed its target. By the way, if I hadn't caught it and helped it hit its mark, that Borisan prisoner would have gotten away.
Hold on a sec, Yun Li. You took my sword without even asking, and now...
So much for
Por
love
que essa
from
menina não
sword
se
masters.
mexe?
What did you just say?
If you just stepped up and took your sword back from me fair and square, I would have totally respected you. But nope, you tried to play it down, expecting me to just hand it back to you like it's nothing. In front of everyone. With all due respect, you don't honor your sword. So you don't deserve it.
Hasn't anyone told you that taking without asking is stealing? If you want to settle this with swords, Fine. Let's have a one-on-one duel right now.
Yanqing.
Well, that's more like it. Just be careful. Because I'm not as easy to handle as the Borison.
You two, be quiet
Fique
and
quieto.
apologize to Yanqing.
Mandou calar a boca.
Hey! Whose side are you on, Grandpa?
I don't take sides.
It's a small misunderstanding, and an apology would be too much. I've heard about the Zhu Ming's incredible swordplay and craftsmanship. Most notably, the legendary Flame Wheel Octet. Seeing Miss Yun Li, who is among those ranks today, well, I must say she definitely has that fiery edge.
Such grandiose names. Some folks love to spin these fancy titles, trying to set the Cloud Knights apart. Yun Li is still just a young girl, a bit awkward and hot-tempered. So please forgive her if she's being rude.
Well, everyone, Elder Huayan and I have some business to discuss. For now, Yanqing, why don't you entertain our guests and take Miss Yun Li to the inn? I'll find another chance to talk with you all. I'd like to express my gratitude to the Astral Express for helping the Law Fu during the crisis.
That's so kind of you. I mean, you've already thanked us so many times.
Literalmente ele já agradeceu muitas vezes.
Please forgive me for coming at an inconvenient time.
You needn't apologize, General Huayan.
All right, Yun Li. Take this opportunity to clear things up with Yanqing.
Yeah. It's better to make friends than enemies. But I won't be heading to the inn just yet. I want to visit Lingsha. She just arrived in the Luofu and could use some help settling in.
Diabo de... Que barulho foi esse, mano? Oxi. Ok. Aparentemente tem um carro parado aqui bem na frente da minha casa. Vendendo alguma coisa essa hora da noite.
Yanqing,
não é churros.
Once you've helped our guests get settled,
mas ok.
Go to the Artisanship Commission for me. I've heard about the attack and the detainment of the IPC ship. Qingzhou sent word that the IPC members are protesting and wish to have their cargo back. See if you can calm them down. Don't get aggressive. Just make it clear that the XIANZHOU Law Fu has no intention of violating their rights.
I'm on it.
O que você tem aí pra falar de mais aí, ó?
This trip is totally worth it. Compared to the Zhuming, the Luofu is so much livelier. But it's a shame the Luofu swordmasters don't seem that great.
Você não vem com a gente?
I have some things to do. Besides, little Yanqing doesn't seem too happy about me tagging along.
Yanqingzinho. Ele não devia ter dito que roubou a espada. Que você roubou a espada, né?
Yeah, you're right. I took it with my skills.
Surrupiei.
So I guess you can say I'm a robber or something. How dare he imply I'm a thief? Totally different. Besides, the sword seems scared of its own master. I'd like to ask him, you claim to cherish your sword as your life, yet you don't even recognize the state it's in right now? I didn't intend to keep his sword. I was planning to take this chance to return it to him. But now, I've changed my mind. I'll give that poor flying sword some proper maintenance. I won't consider returning the sword unless he learns how to say please, hello, thank you,
Ué.
and sorry.
É professor agora?
So he can forget about it for now.
Você coça a cabeça sentindo um formigamento enquanto pensa nos problemas que o Yanqing vai enfrentar. É complicado. Esse daí só toma só toma nessa história.
Yanqing's
é o saco de pancadas né?
Not at all. Taunted by Yun Li like that, even a training dummy would be angry. You've taught your apprentice well. If it were me in my younger days, I'm afraid I'd have drawn my sword and fought. Yanqing can understand your concerns. On the other hand, Yun Li is still a naive girl who's only interested in swordplay. Honestly, I brought her here to participate in the war dance because I want to broaden her horizon.
Uma coisa, o trailer que teve da Yuli parecia que ela era uma personagem meio bobalhona e tal, mas é que ela tá parecendo toda séria, tipo, o que de personalidade vocês querem colocar nessa personagem que eu não tô entendendo ainda? Dá pra ser um pouquinho mais claro?
Hey, Donhung. I thought all the XIANZHOU generals were like Jingyuan, but that General Huayan, he looks so thin and scraggy, as if even a light breeze would knock him over. Is that old man really an Arbiter General?
Os comentários da massa são muito bons.
Well, each XIANZHOU ship has its own division and specialty within the Alliance. Not all of the Arbiter Generals are good at leading the charge. You heard what Jingyuan said, right? General Huayan was once the head of all the skilled craftsmen on the Zhuming.
Pelo jeito nem tudo é o que parece.
Don't you find it strange? Do XIANZHOU people age? I rarely see any old people on the XIANZHOU ship. And when I do, they're usually travelers. But General Huayan looks like an ordinary old grandpa. Is he really a XIANZHOU general?
Good question. He's right there. So why don't you ask
Ele
him
tá bem
yourself?
ali,
Nah, I'd like to live a little longer.
We should leave.
A carinha dela.
General Jingyuan asked Yanqing to entertain us, so obviously, he has important matters to discuss.
This is the report XIANZHOU just sent me. Let me take a look. Looks like the General has given me a tough challenge. He wants me to try and help put the IPC's mind at ease.
Isso é algum teste?
Well, it's not exactly a test. As Cloud Knight officers, we not only learn the art of war and martial arts, but also occasionally have to handle diplomatic disputes. It's just, you know, talking things out isn't as straightforward as duking it out with weapons on the battlefield. This is especially true when you're up against the IPC, with their non-stop corporate babble.
Ainda mais que a CPI só tem cara bom de lábia, né?
Well, let's not worry about that for now.
A Jade, a Topazo, a Aventurine, eles aí são tudo bom de lábia.
It is the Lawfu's honor to have you in attendance at the war dance, yet the fact that a simple martial arts ceremony has attracted esteemed generals from the Zhu Ming and the Yao Qing implies intentions beyond mere spectating. Might there be any specific instructions from the Marshal?
You're overthinking it, Jingyuan. As I said, I'm here to broaden my granddaughter's horizons. I have no ulterior motives. However, I have no clue what the Yao Qing Arbiter General has in mind. Do you remember when you accepted this position? I told you that an Arbiter General's battlefield goes beyond the physical one. You'll need to lead and manage everything on the XIANZHOU. The title of Arbiter General holds a weight far greater than its literal meaning. So many years have passed, and you've done well. However, longevity for the XIANZHOU people can be a curse. Living too long means that every mistake you made will lurk in the shadows. And one day, they'll eventually catch up to you. The Marshal knows everything that has happened on the Lawfu. As for the Merlin's Claw of the Yao Qing, she has come specifically for you.
E é a oficial? Tá falando dela? Ih, eu quero ver essa daí em ação, hein?
Speaking of which,
eu sei que ela vai aparecer,
hasn't she
mas
arrived yet?
Quero saber como ela vai
They say
aparecer.
the Merlin's Claw strikes like lightning. Being late isn't her style.
That's not true, General Huayan. She's been here a while, but I'm sure you've heard of her unbridled nature.
Opa. Aí o...
As soon as she disembarked from the star skiff,
Os dois
she
bichão
mentioned
novo.
having something to attend to and simply disappeared.
Esse aqui é o que vai vir junto com a Facial e esse aqui é o que vai vir junto com a Sparkle, né? Sei lá, esqueci o nome desses
You
dois
must be
aí.
the messengers from the Xianzhou Yaoqing, I assume.
Are Jiaoqiu and Moza, retainers of the Merlin's Claw. It's an honor to meet you in person, Arbiter Generals.
Ai, dane-se, não sei.
Now this is interesting. A guest who doesn't come to visit but sends a message instead. What does she mean? Tell me, what could be more important to her than coming here?
Master heard about a spectacular view in Scale Gorge Waterscape. I believe she went there to enjoy it.
A spectacular view? Ha! Did you hear that, Jingyuan? This person is being sarcastic.
Please do not misunderstand me, General Huaiyan. I was simply stating the truth. Master thought it would be inappropriate to keep you waiting, so she sent us here. Once she's finished with admiring the scenery, she'll personally come and apologize to the both of you.
Fora do palácio.
Drat, I forgot to ask Yun Li to return my sword.
Acho que você nunca mais vai ver essa espada de volta.
Unacceptable. Every sword is precious to me. If it weren't for the General's interference, I would have taught that shameless girl a lesson in swordplay.
Aquela sem vergonha.
By the way, I don't know if it's just me, but the General seemed a little reserved. Could it be because of Elder Huaiyan's visit?
Reserved? Really?
Maybe I'm just overthinking things.
No, you're not. When I entered the Palace of Astrum, I realized that the messenger from the Xianzhou Zhuming was actually the Arbiter General himself. So, the messenger from the Xianzhou Yaoqing must be the Merlin's Claw herself, I presume.
That's right.
Well, that's what makes this entire thing so unusual.
What's so unusual about it? They simply received an invitation from Jingyuan, just like the crew, right?
The war dance is just a small festival. And now we have 2 Arbiter Generals from other Xianzhou ships here. I'm afraid they're here for something more.
É tão esquisito assim ter tantos eu vou chamar de generais, acho que é mais fácil de interpretar assim. Mas é tão incomum assim ter tantos deles em um lugar só.
Maybe they've come to hold Jingyuan accountable for the Ambrosial Arbor crisis?
Hold him accountable? Come on, didn't the Luofu fall victim to the disciples of Sanctus Medicus and the Antimatter Legion? Why would they blame the victim?
Donshu's rebellion and Ventilia's scheming are merely one side of the story to the other Arbiter Generals of the Alliance. Only a single piece of incontrovertible evidence remains, creating an endless source of potential complications.
The Ambrosial Arbor.
Yes. It's undeniable that the plague mark, which was subdued by the Xianzhou Luofu, has resurfaced. But was it really a conspiracy instigated by the Antimatter Legion? Or does it indicate a traitorous intent from within the Luofu, implicating Jingyuan himself? Once the spark of suspicion is kindled, it proves hard to extinguish.
A gente pode apoiar ele de alguma forma, né?
The General must have had that in mind when he invited us to attend the war dance.
O que eu vou falar agora pode ser um detalhe meio bobo, mas não parece que os personagens estão mais parados do que o normal aqui nessa quest, não?
What
Estão menos
was I
expressivos,
thinking?
sei lá.
Seriously, here I was looking forward to a carefree and enjoyable trip.
Onde quer que a gente vá, o babado segue.
Wherever we go,
É.
drama is just around the corner.
Aw, I was
Complicado.
so excited. I thought those Arbiter Generals were just here to see the ceremony. By the way, I heard that an alchemist from the Zhuming diplomatic ship has arrived, and rumors say that she's to be the new Cauldron Master of the Alchemy Commission on the Luofu.
An alchemist from the Zhuming serving as the Cauldron Master on the Luofu? While it's not unheard of, the timing itself...
Thanks to your words, Mr. Dan Heng. Now I finally see the underlying tensions. The General is under tremendous pressure right now, but I was completely oblivious to his troubles. How naive of me.
Come on, don't think like that. Leave the adult matters to the adults. Even if you wanted to do something for the General, it's not like you can do anything.
Mesmo se você quisesse, você não poderia. Caraca, mas que isso? Você só taca pedrada nos outros, é?
Did I say something wrong? Again?
A minha cara. Essa é a rainha do papo reto.
Miss March is right. I don't have the skills to share the General's burdens at the moment.
Acabei de falar isso, velho.
Still,
A mina só joga
I'll
pedra
do my
nos
best
outros,
to follow his
velho. Oxi.
instructions. Let's go.
Baixa a bola aí, filha.
Once I've taken you to your accommodations, I need to go to the Artisanship Commission to handle the IPC's protest.
He looks like he has a lot on his mind. We can't just let him go alone. Why don't we accompany you to the Artisanship Commission?
This is too much trouble. While I appreciate your kindness, dealing with the IPC's workers could be tricky. I'm afraid this will cause trouble for the Express.
No worries. We're pretty experienced in dealing with the IPC.
A gente bate de frente com eles toda hora, né?
Hearts? We've dealt with quite a few of them, right?
Segura sua onda. Acabei de falar isso aqui, ó. Segura a onda aí, filha.
What's with you turning into a scaredy cat? I didn't see you worrying about lawsuits when you wrecked that giant mech.
Well, since you're willing to help, I won't decline your kindness. Let's head to the Artisanship Commission and meet them.
Pera aí, o que ela falou? Meca? Como assim, meca?
Can I really reason with you, XIANZHOU people?
Não é.
I think I get it now. In your words, this is
de novo
called
esse cara, velho.
Ugh, that toxic voice sounds familiar. I heard it before in Arum Alley.
É ele mesmo.
You know what? This isn't my first time dealing with the Skyfaring Commission. I can handle your unreasonable ways, but straight up snatching IPC cargo, isn't that going a bit too far?
Just as I've said it many times already.
Com sono agora.
Once we've inspected the cargo, completed the security check, you can be on your way.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm thinking clear. And my answer is crystal clear. Not a chance. Keep detaining my cargo and I'll file a complaint directly with your general.
Que barraco é esse, gente?
Don't think you can possibly convince me. Huh? Why are you here? Staying on the XIANZHOU, are you? What terrible luck. Wherever you go, disasters aren't far behind.
Aren't you the guest from the Astral Express? What brings you and Yanqing to the Artisanship Commission?
É sobre que vocês estão com problema.
They're in trouble? No, it's me. I'm the one in trouble.
Looks like you've met this IPC worker before.
Não sei se isso é bom ou ruim também não, hein?
Quer
dizer, isso é muito ruim porque eu não quero. Ai, eu achei que esse cara nunca mais ia aparecer, velho.
I was sent here to deal with the IPC protest, Miss Shikue. What's going on here?
As you know, this IPC transport ship was attacked by the Borison and rescued by the Juming's diplomatic ship. Then the Cloud Knights were instructed to bring it back to the dock for repairs and inspections. And this is Mr. Scott, the person in charge of this transport ship.
So, you're Scott. I've heard him mention you. Weren't you kicked off the Lawfu before? Why did you come back?
Like I wanted to come back. I thought I'd just dock at the harbor for repairs and leave this forsaken place for good. Little did I know, as soon as the ship entered the harbor, a bunch of Cloud Knights showed up and snatched all our cargo from the hold.
Que palavra é essa aqui, velho? Lugar parcialmente encoberto, de acesso difícil ou perigoso. Tá.
What do you mean by snatched?
Biboca.
I've told you a million times. It's a security check.
Then why did you bring the cargo to the Artisanship Commission? You even brought in some shady craftsmen. It's obvious you're trying to steal the IPC's patented technology!
Listen here. Firstly, the Skyfaring Commission detected dangerous items that could possibly be weapons in your cargo hold. That's why they called me here, to double-check. Secondly, where the heck did you get the idea that I'm a shady craftsman?
Even if there are dangerous items, what do they have to do with you? It's not even being shipped to the Lawfu. We'll just fix the ship and be on our way. We won't unload our cargo here.
But you'll have to stay in the port for several days before your ship is repaired and you can take off again. How can we just leave unchecked items sitting here?
I understand, but we don't need to disassemble the cargo if it's just a security check, right?
In most cases, we don't. However, our scans discovered that the cargo doesn't only contain machinery, but also some substance that resembles biological tissue.
Tecido orgânico.
Biological tissue? Does this crate contain living things?
I'm afraid we'll need to wait for the Alchemy Commission for further confirmation. In any case, according to our regulations, we need to unseal one of the crates for further examination. But this IPC specialist has been hindering us on the grounds of patent secrecy.
The Alliance's regulations on biological products are very strict. Without further inspection, there is no way for the Skyfaring Commission to release the cargo.
Oh, really? Fine! If anyone lays a finger on that shipment, they'll have me to deal with. It doesn't matter if it's mechanical or biological. It's none of your business. I'm filing a complaint against the Skyfaring Commission's ridiculous regulations.
This Mr. Scott seems stubborn and difficult to persuade. Honestly, I really don't want to have a vicious confrontation with the IPC.
Bom, eu acho que eu sei umas coisinhas aí, né?
I heard how you helped Aramali. The IPC representative back then was Mr. Scott, right? Since you've dealt with him before, it looks like I'll have to rely on you
Isso,
again.
deixa esse palhaço comigo de novo, vai.
What are you guys whispering about over there? Just hurry up and give us back our cargo.
Deixa comigo, vai. Manda bala, vai.
As I recall, this guy won't listen to reason and can only be persuaded with intimidation. But he does seem to follow rules to some extent. Let's use that against him.
Okay.
Speaking of regulations, we have our own laws and regulations too. According to Article 4 of the XIANZHOU Alliance IPC Trade Consensus, the Alliance and IPC shall never infringe on each other's intellectual property rights.
Ah, eu acho que...
The
talvez...
Alliance can sign a non-disclosure agreement with you. That way, you won't have to worry about any infringements, right?
We can sign a mutually acceptable non-disclosure agreement in accordance with the IPC's rules.
Well, that makes sense, but how can we trust you to honor the terms? Even if we set aside the secrecy of intellectual property, these prototypes built by the Intelligentsia Guild are incredibly valuable, beyond your wildest imagination. If anything goes wrong, you won't be able to pay for it even with your life.
Recorra a boa e velha violência. Esse aqui de pagar a indenização, não sei se seria uma boa. Esse aqui não. Ah, vamos com cautela.
Don't underestimate XIANZHOU technology. Even if they need to dismantle your cargo, the Artisanship Commission can easily put it back together.
Yeah, go ahead and brag about
deu
their
errado.
skills. After all, you're just a negotiator they hired. But I'm different. I'm an IPC member, and my fleet has accepted this transportation order. Naturally, I need to be responsible for the integrity of every piece of cargo. Besides, the cargo on this transport vessel belongs to the Intelligentsia Guild. If you want to inspect the cargo, shouldn't you at least call in a member of the Intelligentsia Guild to be present?
Tá, vamos usar aqui negócio desse. Polícia rodada. Dobra os resultados. Ó, volte para a rodada anterior. Ah, vamos voltar para o anterior?
Could you repeat that? I didn't quite hear you.
Tá, voltou para a parte anterior, beleza. Esse aqui?
Can you give us an exact amount, Mr. Scott? If there's any damage after the inspection, the the Skyfaring Commission will compensate you.
The Skyfaring Commission. Yeah, they will compensate you, provided a detailed report of the damage is submitted.
I don't doubt the financial strength of the Skyfaring Commission. However, this is not just about money.
A opção realmente era aquela.
Besides,
okay.
The cargo on this transport vessel belongs to the Intelligentsia Guild. If you want to inspect the cargo, shouldn't you at least call in a member of the Intelligentsia Guild to be present?
Ah, se a carga em trânsito é da Genon, se quiser inspecionar a carga... Ah, pode ser, vai.
I'm pretty tight with Dr. Ratio from the Intelligentsia Guild. Almost like family. Doesn't that make me practically a member of the Intelligentsia Guild too?
Acho que isso aqui não rolou, não.
Nonsense. Even if you were married to him, you still couldn't represent the Intelligentsia Guild. We both need to follow the regulations, because that's how the IPC and the XIANZHOU operate, right? As an IPC worker, I have to abide by its regulations. If I make an exception and allow you to inspect the cargo, it'll spell disaster for me.
Eu não achei que aquela opção fosse ter uma resposta tão ridícula, mas... Ah, vamos usar outra aqui, vem. Dobrar o resultado.
Your logic is too confusing for anyone to follow.
Ué?
Maybe you should learn the art of communication from a monkey before you continue spouting nonsense.
Oxi, que é isso aqui? Que porra foi essa aqui agora, velho? Oxi.
Deve estar bêbado.
Tá, sei lá, esse aqui.
Everyone has their own set of rules. Now that you're on their turf, shouldn't you follow their rules too?
Yeah, I get it. I know I'm on the XIANZHOU, but if I violate the IPC regulations, I'll be in deep trouble when I get back.
Tá.
Well, you guys sure know how to argue your case.
Essa maneira nova aí de fazer debate, eu achei interessante. Eu acho mais dinâmica do que o que tinha antes, hein?
Fine. I'll allow you to do the security inspection. It's just that, I need some time to sort things out. This is a big deal.
Legal.
Let me talk to headquarters first.
Ok, escolhi uma opção ali meio... meio troll ali, que eu achei que não fosse ser tão medonha, mas
So,
ok.
Mr. Scott, are you just stalling for time and planning to leave the XIANZHOU as soon as your ship is repaired? To avoid the Skyfaring Commission's inspection?
Well, IPC staff are free to come and go, as long as they don't break any laws.
Yeah, you've got some insight there. Who are you again?
Allow me to introduce myself.
Ah, boneca nova aí, ó.
I'm Ning Sha, Cauldron Master and head of the Alchemy Commission on the Lawfu.
Could she be?
Yeah, she's the new Cauldron Master assigned here from the XIANZHOU Zhuming.
I received a
oi?
report from the Artisanship Commission about cargo containing samples of unknown organisms. It said they needed help from the Alchemy Commission. I had nothing better to do, so I came myself.
Então é essa daqui que chamam... Tava chamando ela no Twitter de linguiça. Adorei o apelido.
Mr. Scott. If you really don't want your cargo to be inspected, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? How can you say that?
Why are you being so nice all of a sudden? Well, since you're not going to check it, I'll take this crate and be on my way. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, sure. Why should I object? Not only this sample, but all the goods on the transport ship are yours to keep. Like I said, we won't inspect them.
Wait a minute!
Well, that's more like it. If only the young displayed a more reasonable attitude, we could have sidestepped that altercation just now. Our ship will leave in a few days once the engines are repaired.
Your ship can leave whenever you want, but I'm afraid I can't say the same for your cargo. According to the import and export regulations signed between the XIANZHOU and IPC, all biological shipments can only leave the port when they have confirmed to be of no threat, or when all biological activity expires.
Meteu o louco pra cima dele.
Since we can't determine if your shipment is safe for the environment, I guess we'll have to wait for its biological activity to expire. Let me check the previous cases. Normally, it'll only take around 47 star calendar years.
Only 47 years?
Why so surprised? You're still young and full of energy. I'm pretty sure you'll live a few more decades. Have some confidence in yourself.
Ha! Typical of a long-life species. Your words are dripping with sarcasm. While you may not care about time, I do. I'll be demanding double compensation from the Skyfaring Commission for every minute wasted.
Sure thing, Mr. Scott. You seem pretty confident that your career and life will last long enough to witness this victory unfold.
Eita. Tá.
Step aside, guys. Let them do the inspection.
But, Mr. Scott...
Ah, mano, que personagem chato, velho. Sai logo da minha frente, velho.
Just
Puta
let
que
them do
pariu,
the
velho.
security inspection.
Pra que
And if needed,
Pra
you can
que
always
voltar nesse
grovel
cara,
before the
velho?
Intelligentsia Guild later.
Chega, vambora.
I'm just using my head for what it's apparently good for, right?
Valeu, mano.
Well, honestly, at least you're not as annoying as that woman.
Você não é irritante igual aquela mulher.
Bro, just do the inspection.
Valeu, mano. Isso foi tão aleatório, casual e... Opa.
Is this the IPC product?
Listen up. Any damages caused by inspections will be filed with the IPC.
Ah, meu Deus. Essa coisa parece o Kha'Zix. Que diabo é isso? Meu Deus, isso é muito o Kha'Zix versão mecha, velho. Puta que pariu.
Eu já devorei um paraquedista que não caiu muito bem.
É idêntico. Olha isso aqui. É praticamente igual, velho. Ô, Miho, que isso aí, pô? Inimigozinho interessante, devo dizer.
Were you seriously planning to leave this stuff unchecked at the dock for days? That's way too dangerous.
I had no idea about it. You must have accidentally triggered the cargo's defense program.
I don't think trying to shift the blame is a wise choice.
But seriously, I don't know why that thing suddenly started moving. I swear on the Amber Lord.
Tá desesperado ele agora.
Enough. Miss Shikwe, please escort our IPC guest to the Skyfaring Commission.
I'm on it. Please follow me, Mr. Scott.
Gentlemen, our preliminary inspection shows that there is indeed hidden biological tissues inside, just like the craftsman feared. I can't even tell if it's ingenium or biological in nature.
Por que você diz isso?
Core of this device is what they call wetware in industry slang. To put it simply, this machine operates with a kind of biological nerve as its control center.
Por isso que essa coisa tira a voz também?
I'll take some samples for the alchemist to analyze and figure out where the biological tissue comes from.
Why would the Intelligentsia Guild use such unethical technology? Perhaps they're trying to create a new weapon?
Mas essa coisa tem cara de ter sido pega aqui do XIANZHOU, esse bagulho biológico aí.
Whatever the reason is, it's probably why the Borisin attacked the ship. No wonder the IPC were trying to obstruct our inspection. I'll contact the Ten Lords Commission and ask the judges to come and give their final verdict on this. According to our rules, all prisoners and weapons involving dangerous creatures must be taken to the shackling prison for further sentencing. After all, it's the safest place on the Luofu. As for you, Mr. Craftsman, please go with the Cloud Knights and explain the situation to the judge. I had a feeling that the IPC members would cause trouble, but I didn't think they'd be this tricky. Thanks for your help, Miss Lingsha.
I should thank you for saving my life. Your sword skills were impressive. Taking down that big guy. I thought the General's retainers were all burly martial masters. I didn't expect Yanqing to be so...
Fosse tão... jovem.
Yeah, exactly. He's young and talented.
Tinha uma opção ali que tá escrito rebaixado. Puta que pariu.
You must be the guests from the Astral Express, right? Saving the Luofu from that crisis. It's so impressive.
It wasn't a big deal.
It's still early. So why don't we get some tea at the Alchemy Commission? We can discuss your suggestions for revitalizing the commission.
I'd be happy to accept your invitation.
And you three are coming too, right?
Tá, bora. Ué, estão fazendo nada mesmo, né? O que você tá fazendo aqui?
Hey!
Oi,
You're
oi.
back. Why didn't you say anything in the group chat? I'm on duty. Let's catch up later.
Você fica uma gracinha quando tá séria.
Cut it out. I'm carrying out my sacred duty. Stop hanging around here and find something better to do.
Sai daqui, vai lavar
Once I'm done in a few days, call up Lil Gwei and Wawa, and let's grab a meal at Aurum Alley. It's been ages since we hung out. Goodbye.
Caraca, mandou sai daqui, vai lavar uma louça, beleza.
All these years, and the view at the Alchemy Commission hasn't changed a bit. The tides come and go, but the ancient sea remains the same. For us Vidyadhara, there's nothing more nostalgic than our homeland.
You're a Luofu native, Miss Lingsha?
Yes, I grew up here, listening to the sound of waves while researching prescriptions with my mentors and peers at the Alchemy Commission. It's kind of sad, isn't it? Everything changes but somehow remains familiar. Just like you, Don Hung, I traveled far from home, and now I've returned. Seeing the familiar scenery brings back a hint of nostalgia.
The view here would be even better without the ambrosial arbor.
Oh, really? I think that towering tree looks pretty impressive.
Even if it's impressive, it's a plague mark. The XIANZHOU have been fighting abominations for thousands of years. And now that the Ambrosial Arbor has been reborn, it's only natural for everyone to feel uneasy.
Well, once a seed is planted, no matter how long it takes, it'll eventually sprout and bear fruit, in my humble opinion. The rebirth of the Ambrosial Arbor and the resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were inevitable. The seed was already planted when the ancestors of the XIANZHOU sought immortality.
É melhor não fazer muita especulação sobre esse tipo de coisa, né?
My bad. Well, since you went through the entire Ambrosial Arbor crisis firsthand, Dan Heng and Lieutenant Yanqing, I'd like to discuss something with you.
What would you like to discuss, Miss Linksha?
I was lucky enough to be chosen by the Alliance to come in and clean up all the old grime in the Alchemy Commission. Honestly, the Alchemy Commission is riddled with problems and has reached a point where fixing it seems impossible. I'm looking to remedy this problem, but was wondering if you could provide any insights.
Well, even though I'm a Vidyadharan like you, I'm an outsider, just like my companions here. I can't really say much about a remedy, but I do have a piece of advice, Miss Linksha. The Vidyadhara and the Alchemy Commission on the Luofu have always been intricately connected. If you cannot distance yourself from these ties, Miss Linksha, changing the situation within the Alchemy Commission may be quite challenging.
I may not know about politics, but I do know that the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have been operating within the Alchemy Commission for years. If you're determined to root them out, maybe you should discuss it with the General.
I see. Thank you for your valuable insights. While the Lux Arrow from the Rainbow possesses unparalleled power to sever the Ambrosial Arbor, it can't sever mortals' desire to prolong their existence. Just like how the Cloud Knights can eliminate the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but are unable to calm the hearts and minds of the people within the Alchemy Commission. Our XIANZHOU forebears knew this well, and that's why they entrusted the duty of guarding the roots of the Arbor to the Vidyadhara. However, the Vidyadhara are still only mortal beings. 30 years ago, my mentor served as Alchemy Commission's Cauldron Master. She recognized the emerging undercurrents and sought to cleanse the source of the disturbance. Unfortunately, even though she was skilled in the art of healing, she didn't understand the human heart or how to eliminate the sickness lurking within the depths of the Alchemy Commission. In the end, she was framed and exiled to the Juming. I was also implicated and had to leave the Luofu, and guess who arbitrated the case and handed down the sentence? None other than General Jing Yuan himself.
Logo ele.
What?
You heard it right. The ones responsible for the corruption in the Alchemy Commission are not just the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but even the Divine Foresight himself. Alas, why is your face turning pale, Yanqing? Don't worry about it. I understand that when someone holds a position of power, they may sometimes have to make tough decisions. I won't hold any personal grudges against him. Besides, at our age, holding personal grudges is a luxury we can't afford. Linksha, you're back!
Ai, meu
I've been
Deus.
waiting ages for you.
Lá vem ela. Só piorar a situação.
Yunli, why aren't you with your grandpa? What brings you to the Alchemy Commission?
Meu Deus, essa...
Let me take this opportunity to introduce you to
Essa garota é uma anã, é? Ela é menor do que o Yanqing, velho.
What a small world.
Que mundo pequeno.
You stole my sword. Give it back.
I see. Let's skip the introduction part then. Why do I keep bumping into you? Are you stalking me or something?
Of course not. Unlike you, Miss Yunli, I have important things to take care of. You, on the other hand, seem to have all the time in the world to wander around without returning my sword.
Grandpa used to say that a sword reflects its master. I talked to your sword, and it told me that you've been distracted.
You hesitate when you should strike, and you struggle to stay calm when your sword is unsheathed. Now that I see you again, I realize your sword was right. It wasn't me who took your sword. It was you who lost focus.
Do you really expect me to believe that nonsense? I've been taking it easy on you because you're a guest from the Juming, but you're not taking the hint. Don't people from the Juming know you're supposed to return what you've borrowed?
Just look at this flying sword. Even if I gave it back to you now, it'd just be taken away again in a few hours. You know the Cloud Knight saying, a Cloud Knight must never let slip their weapon. Yes? Well, sure, I can give it back to you now, but on the battlefield, that's a whole different story.
Qual é o desses dois que eles ficam se tocando toda hora por causa de espada roubada ou não?
Fine. You don't have to give it back because I'll take it back myself.
Acho melhor eu falar com o general.
But which general should I call?
Mas com qual eu devia falar?
Between these two, who do you think is tougher? Don't get me wrong, I'm just curious.
It is my first day at the Alchemy Commission. A brawl is definitely not how I imagined celebrating it.
Well, since you don't approve, I won't draw my sword here.
I didn't mean it in that way. Since you've already drawn your swords, you'd be disappointed if you didn't get to test one another, right?
Ah, meu Deus, a outra incentivando ainda.
I've received reports that the delves near the Alchemy Commission are still infested with abominations. Seems like my predecessors left quite a mess. So, if you two want to determine who's better, why not focus on them instead of each other?
Clearing out some abominations? Sounds boring.
It's the Cloud Knight's duty to eliminate those abominations. You don't have to ask me twice, Miss Lingsha. I'll help you get rid of them.
Oh, you think you're the only one who knows how to behave? If Lingsha needs anything, I'll gladly draw my sword and help her out.
It's so heartwarming to see both of you being so sweet and caring. So then, shall we get going?
Babação de ovo do nada. Tá, pera aí. Calma aí. Segura as pontas aí rapidão. Deixa eu só dar uma pausa aqui rapidão.
Ever since the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were eradicated, their experimental abominations have been festering here. If you want a contest, I'll be the referee. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins.
Lingsha, as always, you're still an expert in making unpaid work sound so noble and grand.
It's for your own good, little Yunli. While you desire to compete against each other, I don't want to see either of you getting hurt.
That's really thoughtful of you, Cauldron Master.
So, are you both ready?
Ah, tinha que falar com ela.
Looks like my predecessors left quite a mess. Let me say it again. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins. Be careful when you draw your swords, and make sure you don't hurt each other.
Can we start now, Lingsha?
Depois de muito bate-boca.
I win, Miss Yunli!
You got lucky.
Foi sorte, ai.
Why don't you just give me back my sword, sincerely apologize, and then go cry your eyes out to your grandpa?
Ah, mas aí você também tá abusando, né, fi?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm not interested in your rusty sword, as I don't have the nasty habit of snatching other people's weapons.
All you did was chop down a few monsters. Don't get carried away with yourself. If you think you can just take this sword from my hand, go ahead and try.
Ih, lá vem. Nossa, como é bom poder ver uma coisa assim depois de tanto tempo jogando esse jogo, velho. Eita! Nossa, essa mina é literalmente um asta, velho. Ih! Eita porra, olha o festival aí, velho.
Well fought, my young friends.
Opa!
However,
nossa, o modelo dela em game é... Nossa, é lindo demais, velho.
Dodging and weaving, while the other relies on brute strength. trying to take down targets with a single strike.
Nossa senhora. Ela em jogo, ela é muito linda, velho.
Who are you? Me? I'm just a patient seeking medicine from the Alchemy Commission. A passerby, if you will. I thought I'd see my fill of impressive fights during the war dance. Yet here I am, able to witness a remarkable fight at the Alchemy Commission, of all places. Well, the Lawfu is never short of surprises. However, I have a small suggestion for you. Why don't you settle this dispute fair and square in the war dance's ring? That way, you can resolve your differences with a proper duel and put your grudges behind you.
Grudges? No, not at all. Yunli and we were just sparring.
Sparring? You summoned your flying swords and she swung her sword with full strength. No grudges between you. I don't believe it.
Ah! What brings you here, Lady Feixiao? Have you finished your health consultation with the Dragon Lady?
Feixiao? Grandpa always talks about you. Could it be that you're...
The Merlin's Claw of the XIANZHOU Yaoqing?
Looks like I'm quite famous on the XIANZHOU Lawfu, too.
Of course. Everyone has heard of the great general. Known to all, and unbeknown to none.
Great general? Isn't that title a bit too narcissistic?
Narcisista demais.
I don't like it. Ooh, I heard there's a dozing general on the Lawfu, so I came up with a humble nickname for myself. The Lacking General. Lacking in worries, regrets, and rivals. Sounds much better, right?
Ela tem uma personalidade muito boa, já gostei.
Yeah, that's a befitting title that sounds both humble and impressive. Now that the sparring session is over, Yanqing and Yunli, shouldn't you politely thank General Feixiao for her guidance and bury the hatchet?
Here's your sword. Keep it safe. Or it might get taken away again. By the way, we haven't settled the score yet. I'll defeat you fair and square next time we fight.
This is how she apologizes? Now that I finally got my sword back, I should report to the seat of divine foresight. I'll take my leave, General Feixiao. Oh, by the way, Miss Linksha, if you've got some free time, I'd like to invite you to the seat of divine foresight for a chat with General Jingyuan. I think there's more to those personal grudges you mentioned earlier.
Thanks for stepping in,
Ah,
General
tô indo embora
Feixiao.
também? Ué.
Otherwise, I'd have had to knock them out with my incense.
Not at all. Just doing what you asked. How about we call it even as payment for the healer lady's consultation?
Sorry, but even a general needs to pay their bills. We don't do credit here. And let's not forget, you'd have been waiting decades for a chance to see the Dragon Lady if it weren't for me.
Well, you can always send the bill to the seat of divine foresight and say it's for mentoring those kids. After all, it was quite the effort splitting them up. I nearly had to get tough.
Eu quase precisei usar a
Now, if
força.
you'll excuse
Beleza.
me, I need to find a spot and get some fresh air.
Ah, eu não sei porquê, mano. Essa competição besta entre esses dois aí tá me enchendo o
Back
saco,
already?
bicho.
You've met with Jingyuan and wandered around for a few hours. So, what do you think?
It appears that the Divine Foresight is using this war dance as a show of strength to convince everyone that the Lawfu is prospering after the Ambrosial Arbor crisis.
But... I know you're going to say but, right?
But the influx of people attending the war dance is like a breeding ground for disorder and rumors. One wrong move, and the Lawfu could be in a world of chaos.
The Cloud Knights on the streets remain vigilant, so at the very least, General Jingyuan is aware of this. As for other matters, I'm unable to say.
E esse negócio aqui do Mose, agora que eu lembrei que vão trocar o dublador dele, né? Eu já nem lembro qual foi o motivo de terem trocado esse dublador, mas eu lembro que foi alguma treta que rolou aí no passado. Aí que, tipo, ele chegou, fez esse personagem, fez alguma bosta ali no meio do processo, depois foi lá e ele mesmo decidiu sair do papel. Então, assim, Não lembro, então vai ficar só em desentendido aí. Vai mais de um ano que esse troço rolou, então, né? Fazer o quê? Complicado isso aí.
I'd prefer to be excused from future meetings
Bichão
with
mal apareceu,
generals.
já vão trocar o
I'm just a
dublador.
military healer. And now all of a sudden I'm thrust onto the center stage having cordial chats with two generals?
Não é porque, ai, vão trocar ele porque não sei o que e tal, mas, pô, a Mihoi parece que só encontra o dublador na casa, na porta de um presídio, velho. Os caras tão de sacanagem também, mano.
My work doesn't lend itself to being in the limelight either.
Eu gosto de jogar o negócio em inglês, mas os caras também não me ajudam, né?
Just stop whining. At least you're in one piece, right? Before getting in touch with General Jing Yuan, I wanted to put aside my assumptions and see his momentum. That includes the overall bearing of the Cloud Knights on the street, what people are saying, and how those close to him behave.
The might of an army dwells not within its pawns, but within the force of its collective momentum. Recognizing this fact reveals the true measure of power. Thanks for enlightening me, General.
A perfectly clear statement turned confusing thanks to your translation. You've made me lose where I was now. Anyway, this is how I operate in battle, so you might as well get used to it.
Are you treating General Jingyuan as your enemy?
The longest-serving general of the XIANZHOU Lawfu. Do you think he'd have only a few enemies?
By the way, General, you met the healer lady, yes? Could you show me the medicine she prescribed you?
Well, the healer lady couldn't do anything about my condition. She just told me to enjoy some
Comer coisas gostosas. Então tá. Até abriu o olho.
So not even the famed healer lady could help? Don't worry. I'll fulfill my promise and find a way to cure you. Actually, I've found some leads.
O que será que ela... Que negócio é esse que ela precisa de uma cura? Será que é relacionado ao poder dela?
Well, life and death, Zhao Zhou. It's all predetermined. Upon starting my military career, I made a pledge that the rest of my life would be dedicated to being the XIANZHOU's spearhead, hunting down the abominations of abundance till the end of my days.
Nossa, que imagem bonita. Oh. Ah, você acha que eu sou idiota? Vou tirar a print.
As long as I can fulfill that deep-seated desire, I don't care how long I live. You asked if I view General Jing Yuan as my enemy. No. My real enemy has always been myself.
Enjoy some tasty food. So, what's for dinner tonight?
Jeez. You really know how to read the room, don't you?
Esse cara aí também.
You guys figure it out for yourselves. I'm due to catch up with an old war friend I've not seen for quite a long time.
Uma velha camarada de guerra.
Hey! Was that the Yaoqing general who just dropped in out of nowhere? Oh, she's so awesome.
Sim, ela é incrível, eu adorei ela. Ela é muito linda.
Massive sword, she just casually blocked her attack with ease.
Mine too.
Yeah. But to go up against Yun Li is quite impressive, you know? That aura of heroism and grace. It almost makes me want to learn XIANZHOU swordplay. You think so too, right?
Que porra de opção de diálogo é esse aqui? O bagulho com 5 linhas, velho.
Passou de 2 linhas. Eu não leio.
É, foi legal.
I agree. General Fei Xiao is indeed impressive.
I was talking about Yanqing, actually.
Thanks for the kind words, Miss March. The war dance is coming up, and I've been chosen to represent the Cloud Knights in the ceremony. I've had my fair share of defeats lately, and even though I know there are always more skilled sword masters out there, seeing General Fei Xiao's skills today has made me feel a bit uneasy again.
Don't underestimate yourself. After all, generals won't fight in the ring during the war dance. Just remember the state of mind you had when you single-handedly took on me and Blade, putting life and death aside. With that mindset, you can prevail against most challengers.
I see. Thanks for the advice, Master Danheng. By the way, now that today's events are over, General Jingyuan wants to invite all of you to the Seat of Divine Foresight. He has something important to discuss.
Tá. Algo
It's
importante?
about how to deal with the generals from the Yaoqing and the Juming.
I really don't want to get caught up in grown-up games so soon. I just hope Generals Fei Xiao and Huaiyan can see the truth. We don't need any more chaos on the Luofu before the war dance.
Agora fica aí a dúvida. Será que eu vou na Sparkle ou será que eu vou na Fei Xiao, velho? Não sei ainda o que eu vou fazer de segundo
Earlier at
time.
the Palace of Astral, I introduced these guests from the Astral Express to you, Elder Huayan. But with all the people around, we only exchanged pleasantries. Now, I'd like to officially introduce them to you. These three braved great dangers, accompanying me into perilous places, defeating the chief culprit Vantilia, and uncovering the conspiracies of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. If you wish to know more, please, feel free to ask us.
Well, I skimmed through the reports about the Arbor's rebirth from the Master Diviner Hu Xuan. She's been summoned to the Yuchui for questioning. There are a lot of doubts within the Alliance about this whole situation. But despite all that, I believe in you. Since you joined the ranks, you have repeatedly achieved remarkable feats. After the High Cloud Quintet each went their separate ways, despite the many criticisms within the Alliance, the Marshal still stood firm against the dissenting voices and entrusted the Luofu to you. Over the years, you've served the Alliance with loyalty and wisdom. You've taken down abominations in Thalassa, rescued the XIANZHOU Yuchui from a siege, and destroyed the demonic planet summoned by the denizens of abundance. I still remember those battles vividly. There are fools who doubt your loyalty. They're happy to see the divine foresight fail because it gives them some kind of sick satisfaction. They haven't achieved anything of their own, so they feed off the failures of others. But I've seen enough failures in my time, and I want to believe that your loyalty has never wavered.
So, General Fei Xiao of the Yaoqing is the only one investigating the Ambrosial Arbor crisis on behalf of the Alliance? No. I am too.
This old man's words always catch me off guard.
Sempre me
The
pegam de calça
Marshal ordered
curta.
me to come to the XIANZHOU Luofu, but the document only says, attend the war dance and listen to Fei Xiao's questioning.
E o que isso significa?
The Marshal is well aware of Jing Yuan's purpose in holding the ceremony and understands the situation he is facing. She mentioned it because she believes both issues are important.
Thanks for your kindness and sincerity, Elder Huayan. But is it appropriate to tell everyone here about the Marshal's orders?
By introducing the Express's witnesses to me alone, aren't you aiming to discern the intentions behind both my actions and Fei Xiao's? And whether there's any discord between us? Well, since I'm being open and honest with you, I encourage you young folk to do the same. As for the Ambrosial Arbor crisis, all I need to do is listen. General Fei Xiao will be the one asking the questions. To be honest, I'm more concerned about the timely start of the war dance. Oh, by the way, I've prepared a gift for the war dance.
Que presente? Presente do quê?
Yes, it's this case right here.
A caixa tem um brilho suave, construída de um material que não é madeira e nem metal. A superfície é tecida magistralmente com fios metálicos que delineiam um padrão intricado de flores de lótus.
There will be numerous contests and celebrations during the war dance, and the main event will be the Ringmaster's Challenge. The host will dispatch a skilled warrior to take on challengers from all over the cosmos, showcasing the excellent martial arts of the XIANZHOU Luofu. When you mentioned that the Astral Express would be attending the ceremony, I thought the High Elder of the Luofu would be the Ringmaster.
You humor me, Elder Huayan. The healer lady is just a young lady who knows nothing about martial arts. How can I assign her as the ringmaster?
I'm no match to you when it comes to joking.
What's this box for? Why don't you open it, General Huayan?
This sword case is intended for the War Dance's award. It's empty now, but in a few days, a precious sword will be delivered and stored inside. I don't mean to boast about our skills, but this sword represents the pinnacle of the Zhuming's craftsmanship. It has a legendary history, full of heroic tales from foreign lands, tales that are too detailed to be summarized in just a few words. Since the delegation delivering the sword hasn't arrived yet, I'll just leave the case here for now. I've been wondering who would be worthy of such a sword. And then it hit me. I can award it to the champion of the Ringmaster's Challenge. The ceremony's champion is sure to be a perfect match for the sword. Moreover, I hear that Yanqing is an excellent swordmaster, and that he will be representing the Luofu as the Ringmaster. So it seems like a perfect gift for him.
Thank you for your generosity, Elder Huayan.
If you want to give me a sword, just say the word, Grandpa.
Ai, ai, cala a boca,
No need
filha.
to beat
Ai,
around the
meu
bush.
Deus do céu, que menina chata, velho.
Cala a boca, tu é muito chato!
Credo.
You've got confidence, my girl, but I don't think you can best Yanqing.
I know you're all about swords, Miss Yunli. It's just a shame that it's the sword that ultimately chooses its rightful master.
Yeah, and even if someone gets their hands on such a precious sword, it'll probably end up in someone else's.
The outcome of our duel at the Alchemy Commission is still up in the air. Since you're interested, why don't you represent the XIANZHOU Juming and challenge me in the ring?
That's exactly what I had in mind. Nobody knows who's gonna come out on top. It could be me, could be someone else. It'll probably be me. But whatever happens, it won't be him.
Eu vou entrar na onda, olha lá, hein? Brincadeira de mão acaba em choro.
Not to be rude or anything. We've been watching their drama. I'm dying to find out who beats who.
Eu quero que esses dois
Quiet down.
se beijem logo, vai pro inferno.
I've prepared this sword to add some excitement to the ceremony, not to have you two squabble. It's not a good look for the Alliance.
Eu nunca gostei muito do Yanqing, mas pelo menos ele não era insuportável. Agora essa mina aqui, meu Deus do céu, que chata do caramba, velho.
Seem confident that you'll win. You need to remember there can only be one winner and one loser in the ring, which could lead to hard feelings. Actually, I have an idea.
Além de desinteressante, tem uma personalidade chata e um gameplay mais ou menos. E é meio feinha ainda, credo, velho. Colocaram um combo dentro dessa boneca aqui pra fazer ela ser desinteressante. Eu, hein? Design veio... Personagem veio tosca.
If you're eyeing that prize, you'll need to work together. I want you to take on an apprentice who will take part in the war dance and win at least one match.
How does that make sense?
In my humble opinion, while a Cloud Knight is commendable by securing victories, it's even more so to pass on your skills and spread the way of swordplay. I'd be greatly pleased if this apprentice could represent the Express in the war dance by displaying their Cloud Knight flair and prowess.
Well, Elder Huayan's idea is quite interesting. Imparting swordplay skills requires teamwork, and both the winner and the loser will learn a valuable lesson regardless of the outcome.
Ah, massa. Agora que entra. O plot dela vira... Dela trocar de elemento.
Huh? Who? Wait, me?
I noticed just now that Miss March seemed quite interested in the outcome of your sword fight. So I thought, why not teach her the art of swordplay?
Wait, are you serious, General? Why am I being dragged into this all of a sudden? I've never practiced swordplay before. I'm a total newbie. You really think I can learn it? Well, you'll probably
Eu não quero pagar
realize
esse
I have
micão.
no hope and give up on me. And that'd be so embarrassing.
Aceita que dói menos, Marcinha.
Isn't this a perfect chance for you? I remember you mentioning that you wanted to learn some sword moves.
Yeah, I did say that. But this is all happening so quickly, don't you think?
Oh, eu tô achando legal que mesmo tendo as opções aqui pra mim escolher, o personagem agora ele tá falando. Legal.
Miss March is like a piece of jade in the rough.
Eles começaram a fazer isso só agora, né?
To be shaped.
Estranho.
The war dance is the perfect opportunity to see what heights she can reach.
I appreciate your kind words, General YN.
Não que seja ruim, mas eu tô gostando. É um detalhezinho a mais. Pelo menos o personagem abre mais a boca pra falar de vez em quando.
Plus, I heard that each swordmaster has their own special moves. What if they let something slip while teaching me? If everyone knows each other's tactics, won't that make it hard to catch people off guard during the war dance?
That's considerate of you, March 7th. But don't worry. It'll take you at least a decade of hard training before you can even start learning special moves. No need to freak out. A few Juming swordplay tricks will mean you'll be more than equipped.
Really?
Looks like March's curiosity has been piqued.
The whole point is to know each other's moves. Defeating your opponent in just one move? How boring would that be? Plus, what really decides a swordsman's fate isn't some special move. It's the solid fundamentals.
So Miss Yunli has already agreed. What do you say, Yang Qing?
General, I haven't graduated yet. How can I be qualified to teach swordplay to others?
So you're admitting your defeat, huh? If you're not even
Ai, meu Deus do céu, toda vez que essa personagem abre a boca pra falar alguma coisa, ela me irrita, velho. Credo.
Yang Qing.
Primeira vez que eu sinto tanto ódio de um personagem no Star Rail igual essa mina aí, velho.
You've been an apprentice for years. It's about time you looked at swordplay from another perspective.
I see, General. Then count me in.
Now that Yang Qing has agreed too, it all comes down to Miss March giving her nod.
It's up to you to make the final decision, March.
Hora de virar a maior espadachim do Express.
Isso, vem, o Sola.
I understand. Then I'm on board. Thank you for your kindness, General YN.
Great. Starting tomorrow, Yanqing and Yunli will teach you the basics of the Cloud Knight's swordplay. Yunli and I will head out and purchase some sword practice equipment for Miss March. Think of it as a little initiation gift.
You're too kind. Wait, you're giving me a gift? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I think we strayed off topic. How did things even get to this point?
Yeah, I brought you here because the General said he had some important matters to discuss. But how in the world did Yunli and I suddenly become Miss March's swordplay mentors?
Because General Huayan wants us to stick around on the Luofu for some time.
Mas a gente não vê aqui pela cerimônia, né?
But from his point of view,
tipo,
we're no different from all the other tourists who may leave at any time. Since the crew's actions were mentioned in the Luofu's operations log were given to the Alliance, he probably wants to see firsthand if we're as capable as the report claims, or if we're just some made-up excuse to save face. And he wants to see it for himself during the war dance, which is why he even dragged Yunli into this. What began as a simple contest between two sword masters has now evolved into you two collaborating to
sobrou pra massa ainda.
Elder Huayan is still that tricky general who likes to give everyone a headache. My apologies. Truth be told, I invited all of you to the ceremony because I wished for you to act as my witnesses. Now, I apologize for not disclosing this information earlier. In the coming weeks, I'll also invite all of you to a meeting with General Fei Xiao, where you may need to answer her questions and clear up any doubts she might have. So please, be prepared for the meeting.
Bora fazer as malas e dar no pé então hoje. Por mim tudo bem, velho.
Don't worry, General.
É que esses diálogos são muito bons.
I'm prepared to stay here as the Express's witness and answer any.
Ai, pulei sem querer.
Thank you, everyone.
General, I know there isn't much I can do to share your burden, but as the Luofu ringmaster, I won't let anyone defeat me in the war dance.
I know.
Tá... Oh, tem...
illustrious Merlin's
sabia que era ela,
claw
sabia!
reign for me, and for so long, too. It's quite an honor.
Eu
It's been a while,
sabia que era
General
ela,
Fisher.
velho.
It's been 30 years since we last saw each other. Right, Yukong?
Yes. Back then, you were the vanguard of the Yao Qing's Verdant Knights, and I was a pilot of the Law Fu's Rainbow Orbit fleet. Who would have thought that upon meeting again, you'd be a general, and I'd have given up flying? Really does feel like a lifetime ago. Well, I wouldn't say I haven't seen you in 30 years. After all, your great victories are announced through the Yellow Bell resonance system every day. So I'm well aware of your great feats. How's your health holding up?
Still stable, I suppose. Do you still remember the medic who saved me in battle?
That healer with the odd name and peculiar temperament. What was his name again? Was it Pichu? Or Kachio?
Pichu.
Jiao Chou. He's been my retainer and personal healer, delegated by the Alchemy Commission from the XIANZHOU Yao Qing. Over the years, he's dedicated himself to managing my condition. It's thanks to him that I'm still in good health today. Given my background, I'm happy to have made it this far.
I'm relieved to know that you're safe and sound. Well then, since you and Elder Huayan are here, I imagine you must have received orders from the Marshal? As your friend, may I ask how the Alliance intends to punish the General of the Lawfu?
The Arbor's rebirth has frightened the elders who lurk behind the scenes. They fear the resurgence of abominations, much like what happened 30 years ago. Although the report from the Lawfu explained all the details, we don't know if the Ruin Legion really invaded, or how exactly the Stellaron Hunters and the Astral Express became involved. This puzzle has many missing pieces. As you know, the fugitive Jing Liu, who mysteriously disappeared many years ago, has resurfaced. This time, she has brought along an Outworlder and a coffin, claiming to offer the Marshal a method to fight against the Eons. The Lawfu Preceptor has also leveled accusations against Jing Yuan for neglecting the Alliance's principles. She asserts that Jing Yuan enabled the exiled Imbibitor Lunae to re-enter the Lawfu, thereby unlocking the lunarescent depths within Scale Gorge Waterscape, which in turn disrupted the Vidyadhara's dutiful watch over the Ambrosial Arbor. It is for these reasons that I have come here to the Lawfu today. Well, duty calls. Perhaps I shouldn't have mentioned all of this to an uninvolved person, but since we once fought together, I didn't want to keep you in the dark. Perhaps pretending you didn't hear any of this would be for the best.
I understand. I'm sorry. I was out of line. I know I shouldn't be defending General Jing Yuan right now, but... well, you know how I am. The Lawfu has enjoyed centuries of stability since the end of the sedition of Imbibitor Lunae, much of which can be attributed to General Jing Yuan's masterful strategizing. Unfortunately, for a long-life species, enduring through the ages always culminates in a failure that undoes all previous achievements. A moment that our adversaries relish.
That's true. And that's why I'm also here for another purpose. To visit Hulei.
Visitar Hulei?
Hulei? You mean that Hulei?
Oh, monstrão.
The same Hulei who has been imprisoned in the shackling prison for over 7 centuries?
The nemesis of the Foxians who will never be forgiven and shall be imprisoned until the end of the cosmos. I can't quite remember the exact wording, but yes, the very same Hulei.
Usually, only emissaries from the XIANZHOU Yao Qing Skyfaring Commission visit him once every century. Why do you have to visit him now, of all times?
The Foxians and the Alliance made a pact to combat the abominations, aiming to achieve justice and free their kin. That werewolf monster is to be forever imprisoned in the dark recesses of the shackling prison, facing unending retribution. Given the situation on the Lawfu, those on the Yao Qing are concerned about Hulei's imprisonment. I'm afraid that the routine visit every century is no longer sufficient to ease their concerns. That's why I was sent here, to reassure them.
It's all bad news.
São só notícias ruins.
Well, not everything. There might be a silver lining. Oh, by the way, I found some clues about the thing you asked for.
Tell me more.
The Verdant Knights followed the route you mentioned and discovered the wreckage of the Whistling Flame ship. Unfortunately, there were no survivors and no cargo. However, someone had already been on the scene before we arrived.
Our people? Or someone from the IPC?
No, neither. Yukong. Have you heard of a person named Ron May?
Já é o quê? É a segunda vez que falam o nome da rua May nessa missão aqui, hein? Aí tem coisa, hein? Bom, pessoal, esse foi o vídeo de hoje. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. E, bom, se vocês perceberam, o negócio tá meio... Eu não tô focando tanto em editar, colocar tantas coisas engraçadas, porque eu tô focando mais na história e só fazer cortes pra acelerar o processo e deixar mais dinâmico de assistir. Até porque também eu quero tentar, agora em maio, ver se eu chego ali mais ou menos no começo da história de um Foreus, que é onde o jogo tá atualmente avançando, né? Ainda mais agora que já anunciaram a Saber e a Asher como collab do Star Rail. Se for ter lore, eu quero pelo menos até julho. Eu acho que até julho eu consigo de uma boa, mas até lá eu quero não ter absolutamente nada do Star Rail pendente pra mim chegar e só fazer a collab. Então eu tô tentando acelerar logo o processo pra não ficar preso nisso aqui pra sempre. Mas é isso. Deixem um like, se inscrevam e a gente se vê numa próxima.